As the current crisis continues to unfold in Myanmar, events are happening so fast at times that it feels like it can be challenging just to keep up with them. And we're working to increase our podcast production to stay abreast of this ever-changing crisis. And besides our podcasts, we encourage you to check out the blogs on our website, insightmyanmar.org, where you can also sign up for a monthly newsletter. We also encourage you to follow our social media sites. Just look for Insight Myanmar on your preferred platform. With that, let's head into the show.
And welcome back. Today I'm actually joined by two guests. They are the co-authors of a paper. They are Lwin and Myat Thwe. And the paper that they have published is Digital Governance in Exile, examining the National Unity Government's digital services efforts in Myanmar. And this, once again, is a piece of research that was supported by K4DM, Knowledge for Democracy Myanmar. And we are very lucky to be able to discuss this and to have access to this publication. So the topic we're going to be discussing, obviously, is going to relate to the attempts by the National Unity Government to implement governmental services in a time of developing technological solutions and also rapidly degenerating economic stability and increasingly worsening warfare.
So very nice to meet you all, and thank you for having me to involve in that kind of podcast. So my name is Lwin. So I'm kind of higher grade leaders in Myanmar. So I to emphasize kind of legal research and socio-legal studies, and also policy research as well. So in this area and related that, so I study on digitals and also kind of policy and legal framework related matters all throughout my studies. So this is my rough introduction. So thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me here. My name is Myat Thwe. I am a fresh graduate from Institute of Human Rights and Peace Studies, Mahidol University, and I am a researcher focusing on social science related issues, and I specifically focus on migration related issues and also humans. I do the research related to human security dimensions. So yes, in this research, I also collaborated with my colleague Lwin to examine the digital services provided by the National Unity Government after the 2021 coup as a government services. So I am really glad to be here to share our insights about the research paper. Yep, thank you so much.
And thank you to both of you for being here and sharing the research that you've done. And it is quite extensive. I think of the K4DM papers that I've read to date in preparation for this project, I think yours is actually the most expansive and the most technical. So I really appreciate the work that you've done. And I'm actually going to begin with you, Myat. I want to ask about the situation in Myanmar, because in order to understand the digital services that the National Unity Government has implemented, I think it's important for us to understand why services need to be implemented in new, innovative digital ways. Why are the people in Myanmar right now? Obviously, there's a war happening, but in terms of displacement, in terms of access to technology, in terms of access to government offices, why is it necessary at all to implement digital solutions to government services?
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for starting with this kind of very important question. So we all are aware of Myanmar is the politic of Myanmar has changed after the 2021 coup, right? So after the coup, the people from all walks of life in Myanmar, we resisted against this military hunters in various ways, and that is kind of the movement that we have done after the 1988 and after 2021. But the main difference from the previous movement is that currently we are in the age of digital and technology related era. So we have the advantage of technological related tools. So in this, after the 2021 coup, people of Myanmar resisted against the hunters mainly by using the digital technologies, and most importantly, after the formation of the National Unity Government, which is the legitimate form of government, which is formed by the mandate of the committee representing Bidangzu Luto. So the NUG tries to deliver the government services to the people of Myanmar, especially through online. So in Myanmar, we are a country with different socio-political issues, and the government, NUG as a government, try to deliver the services to fill the gaps of the social needs, and also fill the gaps what the people are really in need. So in this kind of situation, when we analyze the terms of governance and the governments, we are seeing that in many countries, the governments are trying to transform themselves into e-government or virtual governments. So what do they mean by the e-government is that it is a kind of government that involves the use of internet and other information technologies, the IT tools to influence the governance, and it creates and provides the information and services within the government and between the government and the public for effective government services delivery. So in the form, as we look at the NUG, what we are seeing is that in the current situation of Myanmar, because of so many issues related after what happened in 2021, the NUG has to deliver the services within their capacity. So we have different CDM teachers, the CDM students, and also other civil servants, including doctors and engineers. We have this kind of workforce and professionalisms that we can deliver something to our people. So NUG came up with a very innovative way of government service delivery, that they create different ministries. They create 17 ministries, and throughout different ministries they provide different government services. But we, in our research, we only focus on three government ministries. Sorry, the three NUG ministries: the Ministry of Education, the Ministry of Health, and the Ministry of Finance, Planning and Investment, MOPFI. This is the brief scope of our research.
So the thing next, we explore the lens of socio-technical frameworks in our paper. This is very important to consider that, because the academic context. So we will be sure that the socio-technical framework is pretty important. Uh, why digital activisms and also the digital governance services is to deliver to the peoples what is importance and how to be integrated into their complex and multicultures and diverse community in Myanmar. This is very important question for all of us. So, and they are trying as much as they can for the services to deliver kind of the diverse languages and diverse services. But the thing is, we want to be sure that the all inclusive to services and no one left behind. This is very important for the humanitarian principle. So the thing is that the inclusive. So when we think about the inclusive, we would like to be sure to escape or to overcome kind of challenges or barriers that will be refrain or afraid to be reach out or connect to the services from the people. So the thing is language barrier, and the other thing is digital literacy as well, and also community engagements. And we can say security perspective as well. So how can we safeguard, or how can we like implement or to prevent that kind of challenges or overcome of that kind of barriers? So we are emphasizing to see the lens of socio-technical frameworks in our studies. So this is very interesting, and the thing is that for the digital literacy and the language barrier, so we will overview and look at on decks, and also we will interview some of the people, government staff, civil servants from the CDN who joined the CDN, and also the other professionals who voluntarily involved in that kind of services inside Myanmar and also digitally outside Myanmar. So yeah, that we have been looking for that paper, and the thing is, we have only focusing on the full ministry. So, Ministry of Educations, Ministry of Health, and Ministry of Planning and Finance. So, and the Ministry of Planning and Finance is also include the SDP and NUGP as well. So, for the hackers that we have Tele-Gemars and other services, and of the Ministry of Education, we can transact not only for the basics but also for the higher education. So this is very broad as well, but we are now looking only for the policy and frameworks and to integrate that with the digital services that we deliver by the NUG to the people using the socio-technical framework.
So we adopted the socio-technical framework as a key lens to assess the findings. So the main reason is that in addition to what Kucho has already mentioned, that the nature of the socio-technical framework, it is that how we look at how the digital government services provided by the NUG fill the gaps and the issues happening in the socio-political landscape in Myanmar. So after the coup in Myanmar, we are seeing so many different issues, like how the military is tracking the CDM teachers, CDM workers, the CDM students, and they are blacklisting this kind of people from our society, how they are arrested, and also how how they are leaving out the services in the border areas or the resistance control areas. So we are seeing that the services provided by the military is only available, and they are only focusing on the military control territories. So resistance control areas and other kind of border areas where many thousands of Myanmar people are migrating to because of the security conditions. The people in those different areas of territories, they need different services, and they need different recognitions, and they need recognitions of their problems from the governments, which is the NUG. So NUG tries to deliver the services to the people of Myanmar, no matter where they are. So in the resistance control areas, there are specific services delivered by the NUG designed for the socials and socio-political, socio-economical related issues happening to them. So so this is the kind of services that we also analyze with the socio-technical framework. Yeah.
So I want to continue on this point, and this question is open to both of you because I think it very much comes under both of your areas of study. The socio-technical framework that you talk about in your paper, I think, is very important. I think it's very innovative. You are, I think, very correct to identify that you have to examine not only the technical efficacy of a particular solution that the government implements, but also the social framework within that solution is being provided. You can have a tool that is very good on paper, but does not work for the context in which you are trying to apply it. The first point on this that I want to ask, that I think is very important context for us to establish, is prior to the 2021 coup, the pseudo-democratic government, whether we're talking about the military government from before the 2010 election, whether we're talking about Thein Sein, whether we're talking about NLD, during this period of time, do you feel that the government services, that the services provided by the government in Naypyidaw in Myanmar on a socio-technological analysis were actually good, actually able to provide the services to the people of Myanmar? Or do you find that there were significant social barriers that the government in Naypyidaw was failing to take into consideration?
Before the 2021 coup is not the timeline that we focus on, but I think I can discuss briefly about that. So when we conduct the interviews about the the innovations and the technology related services to people, the interview respondents mentioned that in Myanmar, the digital services by using the ICT tools, it start to initiate in a very fruitful way only when the COVID happened. That because after the COVID-19, as an example, the Ministry of Education, they try to cope the situation, they try to adapt the situation from the home with the home-based learning, and everyone was trying to adapt into the work from home lifestyle. So everything about learning and working is by using new kinds of tools, which are the information and communication technologies. So for the civil servants at the time, like the teachers and doctors, this is their very first time to use these tools, these ICT tools in a very day-to-day basic, and they don't have the digital literacy skills at all at the time. So the ministry tried to deliver the digital literacy skills and how to use them in a safe way, as things like that. So we can refer to that the digital services delivery started back in COVID-19 era. But before that, some of the interview respondents also mentioned that the NLD government tried to provide that in various way, but they also had some kind of limitations, and the transformation into from Zoji code to Unicode is also kind of like a major transform that we had seen. Yeah, so this is the their experiences having with the digital service delivery. Yeah.
So I think Myanmar digital governments in before the coup, it represent like kind of modernization efforts, and they are like kind of ambitious for reforms, trying to be the integration of technology in the public administration. So before between 2010 and 2020, so this is like significant digital transformations, and they're expanding some kind of telecommunication assets and strengthening the government services. So let's say U Teng Singh government. So your minister do military. So I will say like Kuisan civilian governments. So Myanmar has trying to begin investing heavily in the digital infrastructure. I think 2030. So the government is some liberalized for the telecommunication sector. So they are open for the Telenor or radio and some other mobile tele operators into the market, and they free open market since 2012 or 2030 as far as I know. So Syncas can operate that with the like very affordable amount for everyone. So at the time, so the digital usage and also the infrastructure is you know uh, uh, dramatically change or growth in not only for the digital but also for the another sector of economic and digital kind of other services as well. So Ministry of Telecommunications and other things in governments trying to be set up the ICT master plan. So that will be that between 2010 to 2060. So they are they try to expand the network of coverage and promote digital literacy, and also trying to encourage to the institutional modernization. So this is pretty interesting. So and also with the support of some other EU and other international community, so they are trying as much as they can. And also I think UNE government development index, so we will say abbreviation that like EGDI. So that improves, and Myanmar is through still like increase in ranking compared to the before that before the 2010. So Myanmar trying to ICT plan, and also other after the like NLD government is with in place in power. So they are trying to be established digital economic development committee. So this is kind of under the central government. So they are trying as much as they can, but they are solely controlled by the in Naypyidaw, and they are this is the kind of development successive version of the digital economy roadmap. So Myanmar have done roadmap and that kind of frameworks and committees that they have been doing for the development of the digitalizations and digital economy as well. So NLD is also, as far as I know, NLD is also trying to be national identification card that we have been doing still now is very handwriting and very manual, and they're trying to be the smart card and like digitalize all of our biometric and all other data into the nationalized data mapping system or database systems. So and some other they are trying to be a Myanmar portal and trying to connect it with the economic and also the social and also political into the digital life. So they are trying to initiate that kind of initiative, and also e-government master plan. So they are, I think, in under the government they are trying to be drafted e-government master plans or e-government plan. So but unfortunately after the military coup, so this is now still struggling to implement. But the thing is, at that time, so we would say the some other support for the international community to be digitalized and e-government system, and also rank is increasing for 192 three country. I think we are ranked at more than 160 above. So this is pretty progress, and we open another Facebook and telecommunication. But the thing is, in the meantime, so some law, for example, let's say 2004 electronic transaction law and telecommunication law as well. So they are trying to be integrate or reinforce that kind of achievement. But the thing is, in the meantime, that they have prohibited some kind of freedom or expression and freedom of thought in social media. So the government is trying to be sue or litigation to the people that we are under the title of like telecommunication law when we are posted as some kind of political criticism or political parody into the social media like Facebook and other platform. So this is very difficult, and the situation is very limited, and also uh, remain like challenging for the citizen who are very accessible to the citizenship. So this is a kind of in the meantime they are developing the plan framework, and the other thing is there some kind of law that have prohibited the rights of the freedom of associations, freedom of thought. So we need to be balanced between the kind of which one is we need to be initiative to reinforce, or which one is need to be monitoring. So and also for me personally, I approach to some of the parliament to adjust or reform the kind of law, especially for the telecommunication that emphasizes for the citizen to criticize the governments or other kind of like we want to rule. We have to be respect their freedom of expression or freedom of opinion. So uh, this is progress, and I think 2080 or 2090, maybe 2070 or 2080, they you know to change the law in some of their sections. If you would like to be, sue or litigation to the individually or personally to the citizens to criticize or defamation. So we would like to be, there's no easy to be, report in the code. This is very various step to be, to need the permission to sue the people individually. So this is like we put like various another additional step to be sued. So people like government is afraid to trying to people individually. They are not easy as before to trying to sue for the people individually. So this is very progress. But we sure that this is not the things that we just get. We would like to be reform the law like comprehensively in order to be promote and link with the like electronic transition and also the digital advancement or digital achievement. So this is the thing we have to advocacy to the parliament for the code. So but in this our study and our research, so we didn't emphasize on that kind of scope because it is like pretty longer than before. But after the coup, the scenarios and the story is totally changed. they are divided into their territories, and some other places, resistance is going on, and also some other conflict is happening, and digital activism is still progress. In the meantime, so digital operation is also increasing as well. So we have to be monitoring. So how should we, ensure the digital security to the human rights defenders and pro-democracy activists in order to be, arbitrary arrests or extrajudicial killing or something like that. So this is very important, and the situations we have to be careful and taking care of that kind of situation in Myanmar. So this is the story from the prior to the coup and also the after the coup as well.
And you've touched on a lot of different topics that I definitely want to sort of get to as we go forward with this interview. The level of technological security that we can provide for activists, the potential for legal reform that is happening through this, and so on. But before we get to those, I would like to understand more about how the current NUG services compare to the services that existed before the coup. Obviously, we can say that the services that are currently being provided by the military are just not acceptable at all, particularly when it comes to things like healthcare and when it comes to things like education, because as we saw, the military invaded the hospitals and took over the universities and the schools. And we've seen the disastrous economic policies that they've tried to roll out and the financial limitations that they've imposed. But particularly when it comes to things like language, I know that in Myanmar there is a very large percentage of the population which struggles to speak the official language. And this obviously makes a lot of government services very inaccessible to them. And I know that historically this fact has even been exploited by governments who have wanted to pressure communities into giving up some of their rights and giving up their property and things like this. So with your socio-technological analysis or socio-technical analysis, do you see the current tools that the NUG has implemented and the services that the NUG is providing as actually being an improvement over the services that people in Myanmar were receiving prior to the coup? And again, with a sort of particular view to the services as they are being provided to cultural, ethnic, and linguistic minority groups.
Thank you so much for the question. So, if I have to compare the services of the NUG at the current moment and before what NND or Udaisin government did, I think the first thing I would like to point out is the situation that we are having right now is completely different to what we had. So, back in 2010 and after 2020, that the governments they try to introduce the digital platforms and the tools for their effective services delivery. It is the kind of like the initiating errors. So like the Gojo mentioned before, they try to set up different policies and they try to bring so many talented people to transform the Myanmar's government services into e-government. So but all of these efforts and initiatives were destroyed after the 2021 coup, and the situation is totally changed. But in terms of languages and the cultural related sensitivities, I think the NUG government they have prioritized focus on this kind of specific issues, but on different levels. They also come with shortcomings and limitations because of the capacity, the manpower, the resources like the financial and technical resources. So they also come up with that kind of limitations. So in terms of these kind of languages and cultural sensitivities, the NUG services, I would like to explain a bit about how the NUG's Ministry of Health is taking care and how they are dealing with the patients in different ethnic regions. So when we interviewed with the people from the Ministry of Health, they mentioned a very interesting stories that they had provided. So the NUG Ministry of Health, the Tele-Gemar, that which is the teleconsultation and telehealth services provided by the NUG. The purpose of Tele-Gemar is to provide the online consultation about the healthcare and healthcare services to the people of Myanmar, no matter where they live. So their intention is not only to provide these services to Burmese people and Burmese speaking majority, they also try to reach their services to the ethnic territories and the resistant control territories. So what they did was kind of innovative and also contributive to the ethnic communities as well. They collaborated with the ethnic healthcare units, as an example, the Shan healthcare units or the Karenni healthcare forces, task forces. So as an example, with the Shan healthcare units, they had a collaboration for teleconsultation for the patients in Shan states. So the kind of model that they did is that the Shan healthcare unit on the ground, they gather the patients who need teleconsultation services from the NUG, and they gather the patients in 10 or 20 groups of people. In one group, there are kind of like 10 to 20 patients, and they make a appointment date and time with the NUG, the doctors from the Tele-Gemar. And when the appointment dates and time arrives, they go to a specific area where they can access the internet services, so they can talk to the doctors from telegrams and also Zoom platforms. And from the NUG side, from the Tele-Gemar side, the doctors provide the consultation service to this group of patients. And the language, as for the languages, the interpretation is done by the local healthcare units, like the Shan healthcare unit. So patients can directly communicate to the doctors through online. And also for the Shan healthcare units, the doctors and nurses working in that unit can also learn a lot from the doctors and nurses from NUG side who are working online but based in different parts of the world, like the UK or the Australia. They have many experiences from different parts of the world, so the ethnic healthcare units can learn a lot from NUG's doctors and nurses as well. And the NUG sites, or they can also learn what is happening on the ground and what are the diseases and the general issues happening on the ground from the ethnic healthcare units as well. So it is the mutual learning opportunity as well. So yeah, this is the kind of initiatives that they try to overcome the language barriers. But sadly, this kind of initiatives were kind of like disturbed and destroyed because the military regularly conduct the airstrikes and artillery attacks to the ethnic areas. So whenever the teleconsultation groups are there, so there are there can be airstrikes or any kind of security threats. So yeah, Tele-Gemar has to stop this kind of operations, but they are trying to provide this kind of services in many different ways by overcoming the security threats. That is also the same with the Ministry of Education as well. The Ministry of Education is also trying to provide teaching models and methods in ethnic friendly and cultural friendly context, but it is a big debate as well, because at the basic education level, because of the shortage in human resources, it is very difficult for teachers to provide the teachings and learning materials in ethnic languages. When there is enough ethnic speaking teachers, it is convenient to do that kind of thing. But the human resources and financial limitation resources are also a big problem to do such kind of initiatives.
We are emphasizing on ethical education and finance. So the thing is, the digital, when we are talking about the digital governance or digital services or whatever. So the thing is, this is significantly different from the other students, other contexts of the other part of the world. So the thing is, we are on the conflicts area and conflict situations. So the like every day like airstrike is happening, as Mr. already mentioned that. So we have been taking care of that kind of potential risk situation, and in person and online as well. But the thing is, NUG is trying to be develop the digital scope or digital platform in order to refrain for the threat, or threat tank, or kind of risk situation or physically. And most of the services that we can do on digitally, so this is partly safe from the than the physically, so they are more focusing on the digital. But in the same time, so they are also focusing and emphasize based in physically. For example, like hospital, healthcare services inside Myanmar, especially in Sagai, Magui, another part of Magui, and also some other part of Mandalay, some of the NMG control area, and some other EL control area. They already do have that kind of service, a physical services in there. So they collaborated and coordinated between this ERO and also NUG to provide services. So I think Tele-Gemar is also, we have 330 townships in across Myanmar, so more than 320 townships that Tele-Gemar can support like online medical service to the people. So that is very effective, and where like all of the medical consultation is free of charge. So this is very
Mm,
convenient for the people who are under the poverty, who are struggling for the daily food as well, so who are in a hunger. So we are now relying on the free services from the alternatives, kind of digital services from the national unity
mhm,
governments, and also ethnic resistant organization that they have been providing some kind of digital services, or
mm,
send social hacker services to the people. So we have Tele-Chamar, we have general clinic as well. So in Tele-Chamar provided that kind of services, and also the online consultation as well. And for the education, so they open both digital and on ground education. So a lot of like plenty of all the in-person schools in the Sakai and Magui area. So that's why like military is trying to be airstrikes and attack to the schools, because they realize that like school is kind of community places, and
mm,
they're trying to be targeted to the school. The people is very afraid to be not involved in the resistance or revolution. So this is the that they are trying to be labeled as the resistant forces in around the schools. But the thing is, this has not really happened. Or this is not, they are totally civilians and schools physically based in the area. But the thing is very potential threat for the by the airstrike. So they are trying to be changed to physically to the online. So some people is based in the homeschool, some people is like digitally trying to be teaching in some other area. But the thing is, for the experience and physically, so for example, like say for the science subjects for the higher education, this is very difficult to do the physical like online research or online experiments. So this is more better more on emphasizing on the in physically. But the thing is very difficult, challenging for the people who deliver in service to the people. So this is totally different story for higher education, tertiary education, and also the higher education as well, basic education as well. So this is the different kind of story that they have been NUG is providing. So but the thing is, NUG should more decentralized and flexible for the higher education, because for the academic freedoms and academic standards, so some other you know organization, academic institution is trying to be provide education to the people, especially for the CTM and other people, other students to higher education. So their like education ministry is to be coordinated or consolidated between students and university as well. But for the basic education, so NUG is right, I think deeply inside that and diving into the physical and online education as well. They have online federal school. A lot of teachers is teaching about the different kind of subjects, and people like students from across the country is trying to be the digitally. And after that they have like BCA exam. BCA means basic education completion assessments. So after that, so they are trying to be GD and also trying to be connect with another university in outside of the territory. So this is a significant story from the Ministry of Education, from the NUG providing for the digital education. For the finance as well, they are like Sprint Development Bank, NUG. So they have a lot of um, plan to do. This is not, as far as I know, this is the initial idea from the Mr. Shantonnel. This is the professor from the Australia. So he have been to the advisor to the Myanmar, especially for the economic setup for the coup. So now he is trying to be advise that kind of very progress and authentic advisory for this kind of initiative for the stream development. And also we like, for example, most of the revolutions or resistance is trying to be fundraising from the some other gambling, the human trafficking or some other kind of that kind of crimes or violence like that. But unlike that, this is not my assumption. This is like this. Some of the researchers already pointed out and argued that, the energy is trying to be fundraising from the people with like a spring development ban, lottery, and NUGP. This is more convenient for the people to involve, for the people to be safely and secure way to be transfer the money one for another. And the other thing is NUG is get some kind of interest or some other kind of deposit from the people to be invest in some other kind of revolution and resistance one. So this is very progress ideas and alternate idea, and they trying to be block change and also the you know T-coin as well. So this is very significant and a lot of plan there between the digitally, especially for the finance sectors in Myanmar and the NUG. So the thing is, we of course we are considered the kind of services doing to the people, but the thing is some challenges that we have been facing, for example, like internet shutdown and surveillance. So recently, I think like yesterday or like the recent day, so the scamming from the Thai Myanmar border. So the US Congress is hearing for the from the Elon Musk to Starlink is providing internet services to the scam center. So the Starlink is trying to cut off the internet service in those areas, targetedly cut off the area. This is perfectly fine. So we should like black out or shut down the kind of like scam service as well. Yeah, this is pretty good. But on the other hand, so they cannot really target in for the other other people, especially with civilian or civil, especially for the other resistant organization, NUG or other who are relying on their Starlink, but they are not totally scammed. They are their areas internet completely shut down, so they relying on the Starlinks. But at the time of the shutdown of the Starlinks, so they have been facing the barrier or challenging on access to internet. So this is a challenge that we have now facing. So how can we encounter that if Starlink is only available option for the online services? So if we are cut off the Starlink, so how can we do that for the further? So this is very interesting and the new challenges for us to overcome for the internet shutdown. So also power shortage as well. So and also cyber attack as well. So our research is also kind of stick savvy to the people. So some of the survey, I think more than 65% of the our survey respondent is highly trust for the quality of service from the NUG, but only 37% is also like reliable assets. But barriers is the respondents is pointed out like for the internet shutdown, and also most of them are pointing out the lack of technical familiarity. So digital literacy is extremely important for all of us to order to access to the network. So they are normally go to the Telegram, Facebook Messenger, and go to the desk service. This is very easy. But for some other service, for example like a blockchain or coin service for the energy financial service, people are not really known about the thing, especially for the people who reside in Myanmar, for the older people who are not familiar with like digital services. So digital literacy is very important for them to access to that kind of service. So that's why some people is also still relying on the physically services. If they don't have a physically, so they cannot do anything more. So this is uh, that's why our study is find out that we need more digital literacy to the people, and also the digital security as well. People are very afraid of to leakage of their information and data to the people, because we already know that we like some of the student information data from some of the online school is leakaged to the military junta. Like I think couple of years ago, some other students and teachers arrested due to teaching voluntary online to the people. This is labor as military junta labor. This is a crime. So very digital literacy is very important, and also digital security education is also important. So this is if we can fix, or if we can reinforce that kind of establishment. So this is very convenience, or very easy to use for the user across the country, to easy to access to the internet and easy to access to the digital service as well.
Yes, I will also like to add a bit more comments to what Jolwin has said. Jolwin has mentioned the very significant role of that the digital literacy plays in our country. As I have to go back to your question, that what is the key differences compared to the previous governments, or what the military has been doing compared to the services provided by the NUG. As also to recap with what Jolyn said, I would like to point out that in terms of the digital tools, we can point out that there can be two ways that we can use this digital technology. We can use that we can use the digital tools to weaponize them to get the goals that we want, like how the governments in different parts of the countries are doing weaponizing these tools to the goals that they want, like a surveillance mechanism. Currently how the SAC is trying to weaponize the digital tools to monitor the people, to track down the people with their face scans and other identities. So this is the kind of advanced technologies to control the resistance movement. But in another way, we can also use these digital tools to contribute back to the society and to fill the needs and the gaps of the society. As an example, that the war movement is trying to resist mainly on the digital way, in a combination of physical resistance movement on the ground. NUG is also trying to deliver the services by using the digital technology. So this can be the two different ways that we can use this digital technology. But here, it is the up to us. It is the up to the people to know the digital literacy, either using in a good way or being used at a bad way. They have to know, and they have to have digital literacy to avoid all of the risks. Currently, the major issue happening in the war, the scam centers issue. Most of the victims are from Myanmar, and also the victims are spread across the world. But the Myanmar people become the targets of the scams, and the hackers are taking their accounts and something like this. So they really need to be aware of the digital literacy as well for this kind of matters as well. Yeah, so that is the point I would like to point out. And it is also up to the governments to spread the awareness about the digital literacy. But we cannot see the military doing such kind of digital literacy initiatives to protect people from being scammed. It is sad to see that they are the main institutions which are trying to weaponize these digital tools.
Absolutely, and I really enjoy sort of two different aspects of what both of you have just been discussing here. And on the one hand, and I want to talk about both of these. On the one hand, we have the element of technological security, and on the other hand, we have the element of technological literacy, which is difficult because, as we know from any ICT field, if people have some level of digital literacy, that they're able to use digital services, they're able to use their phones and their applications and their computer, and they can access a lot of services and they can do a lot of things. but a certain amount of digital literacy brings a willingness to use tools, but it does not bring an awareness of the technological dangers of using these tools. And especially in a time such as this, where, as both of you have very accurately pointed out, activists, revolutionaries, CDM doctors, CDM students and teachers have all been targeted by the military. And we saw from the case with Telenor just how much the military wants to get their hands on people's private telecommunications information, and how valuable it is to them in order to identify and locate and punish people. Have you identified, with the tools that the NUG is providing for digital governance, have you identified any technological risk, and have you identified any solutions that the NUG and their technological implementation partners are using to try to mitigate those technological risks, to keep the users, to keep the civilians safe from being tracked, spied upon, located, arrested, or killed, as the case may be? Kojo, I'll begin with you.
Yes, so NUGs, they are trying the digital services is not solely, so they are surrounded and supported by another like technical expert and also the technical expertise that are surrounded by the NUG, so they providing voluntarily to the people that kind of services to the people. So this is the one thing. And the other is NUG is trying to be, security assessments, especially for the digital security assessment for the people that they have been running some kind of services that launch or initiative is just started, so they trying to be in they trying to develop to counterpart of to prevent for the hacking or attack digitally by this and other people. So some of the our respondent pointed out that so this is not only attacked by the military junta but also attacked by the online scamming as well. So online scamming and other like hacker is trying to be hard to the NUG digital services, some of the server. So but they are like 24/7 emergency response, especially for the digital hacking or attacking from the other sources. So they're trying to be prevent as much as they can as soon as possible to prevent that kind of attacking. So some of the experts pointed out that like more than 3 times like heavily attacked on the other sources, but they are not argue that this is not the this is military or this is online scamming or this can be other. But the thing is like they have been attacking 3 times, more than 3 times, so they are at that time they are trying to be prevent as soon as possible to prevent that kind of attacking, and in order to secure the data storage from the other people, especially for the people who are in the customer or the service for the digital services from the NUG. So they are keeping that, and they are after that, so they are trying to be and the server is now from the different areas and different area to secure the protection as well. But the thing is take for the other sites and other like online scammings and military or anyone else, so they are trying to be hacking. But the thing is that their security setters and also the digital security is also prevent us very well yet so far. So this is so far so good for now, but they are trying to be develop the ideology and idea to prevent the attacking from the information user data and information from the NUG. This is extremely important, and the thing is mostly they are trying to be attacked only more focusing on the NUG finance sector, finance and planning, because the military junta is trying to be investigators talking people who are donated to the NUG or who would like to be contribute some money or support into the resistance force as well. So they would like to be investigate of that kind of transition. They would like to investigate that kind of people who are in support. So this is the reason for the military would like to investigate, especially for the financial sector. And the second is for the online scamming is also attacking for the uh, server because of their some financial records and some card information or something is already stored in the server. So but they are prevent so far. So this is the one thing. But for the education, they would like to try to attack the education to the NUG, the online services as well. So but the thing is very interesting that this is not a very high technology or very high technique fee. This is very easy but negligently. So this is very careful on that. So if you're negligent, this is very serious thing is that some people is creating the Google found link because when we are collecting for the online school, so we are collecting for the admission or open call to the admission to the people students. So they are given the announcements and also the Google forms or other forms to them. And some student is easy to fill the form with their data, their name, their area, blah blah blah, and also their second number or as well. And after that they submit that, and also their NUG is trying to store the data, and also after that they will reach out to the student who are eligible to attend the class or university or the school. So this is the procedure of like NUG admission, especially for the online school, digital online school. But the thing is, one time, so some people from the military is drop the link to the revolutions and other kind of CDM and students group with the same link with same invitation letter, but the link is completely different. So the link is the owner is from the other source, not from the NUG. This is the link, but students is not. This is very similar to the previous one and former one. So they are trying to be. Oh yeah, I would like to attend the school, so that's why I click the link and also full of the form comprehensively, put all the data into it and also check submit. But this is a fake one, and this is the entire data is transferred to the military Honda of solely. So this is very careful and serious on that. So that's why now NUG is trying to be Telegram channel. So this is supported for the people who are not aware for the technical and who are not who didn't aware or for the technical familiarity or digital literacy. So for example, if someone has having problems, facing some problem in order to secure the digital security or like two factor authentications or some other digital security, so they are directly reach out to the Telegram groups. And also the if the Telegram is a combos or some other technical expert, and they are individually approach and also given some consultation or suggestion to individually to then how to prevent like digital attacking individually, and how to prevent to integrate that or their digital system, and how to store digital system systematically and sexual way. So this is like ad hoc. They are NUG is trying to be prevent and spread information, awareness information, and also suggestion individually to the people who are in a digitally emergency attacked by the other. So this is now they are preventing. But the thing is, this is not systematic on. This is not formally. So we if it is better to promote formally and systematically approach to the people, and systematically formal channel to approach individually and also give suggestion to them, because I think some of the people only know, and most of the people didn't know about the channels and they what they are doing and what they are suggesting. So this is the thing. Because of their capacities and their limitation, if we are like publicity announced and publicity reach to all the people, this is very risk for the people who are giving suggestion, and also risks for the people who are the owner of the Telegram groups or the admin of the Telegram groups or others. So this is very risky situation. So that is energy is trying to be prevent so digital attacking or hacking from the others. Yes.
Thank you. And so let me move to Myat here for the other side of the question. So obviously we're looking at the technological security and technological threats, but let's look at the other side, and this is obviously something that your research paper looks at, and that is the level of adoption by the people and the level of technological comfort that the people have with these tools. You mentioned previously that during the COVID period, there was obviously an increase in the number of digital tools, the services being offered by distance. And so I imagine that the Myanmar population would have become much more comfortable using technological solutions in the COVID period. But are you finding that there is generally a willingness among the people to use these digital governance tools, both in terms of their level of comfort with the technology and also in terms of their trust that the tools are safe, that the tools are effective, and that the tools are going to be able to provide the services that the people actually need.
Yeah, it is true that for the most of the civil servants on the daily operation and implementation level, starting from the COVID-19 period, they start receiving the intensive digital technology related courses, digital literacy, and how to conduct day-to-day office jobs through these ICT tools. So yeah, so this is a very beginning of for them to adapt their lifestyles with these tools. But these all, like I mentioned before, like all of these initiatives has been disrupted and destroyed because of the coup. But we have to return to back to the digital tools anyway, because of the digital resistance movement that we have been doing. In terms of the users' willingness to adopt these tools, I guess like most of the civil servants, like including those who are in the kind of like the senior generation, they're also willing to learn and willing to adapt themselves to integrate these tools for their daily lifestyles. And for the younger generations, it is totally convenient for them to rely on those tools, and their trust level, it depends because of the security trust that the military is doing on one side, and on the other side they also their trust also relies on how much or how advanced the internet infrastructure that the NUG is doing, or NUG is has constructed. We, like Goja mentioned before, when we did the surveys, we also asked to over hundreds of users about to know their perceptions, to know their trust level. But we have seen that most of the respondents have they I think more than 45% have shown that they have a moderate trust, and more than 34% have shown they trust these tools delivered by the NUG in a high trust level. Yeah. So in terms of trust, I think it is people are showing their willingness toward that. But for those who don't use or who don't want to use the NUG's digital services, nearly 50% of the population cite the security related issues. So what going back to your question, in terms of trust, people are willing to do that, and people are willing to learn how to use these platforms and tools in a secure way. But again, it is also up to the age groups, and it will be a bit hard and challenging for the older generations to learn and to adapt their lifestyles in that way. Yeah, but what I want to mention is that it is very important for people of old age, people of different backgrounds to use the digital tools in a correct and safe way, either they are using the NUG's digital services or not, because of the big issues happening by imposed by the scam centers, and also the digital threats by the military. So digital literacy is like the most important thing that we have to talk about. Yeah.
Absolutely. And at this point, I think, we're talking very broad scope, where we're talking about the general willingness of people to adopt these tools. because of digital literacy and trust in the tools, and we're talking about the general threats that people face from the military. But let's talk more specifically. So obviously, in your paper, you do have an appendix at the back, and you list out quite a lot of specific tools and specific services that different NUG ministries provide. But the focus of your research, as you've both stated, is in the tools being provided by three ministries, and that's the Ministry of Health, particularly when it comes to Tele-Gemar as the predominant telehealth service, the Ministry of Education when it comes to Thwe, which confusingly translates to Spring University, but should not be confused with the Spring University Myanmar (SUM), which is an independent non NUG affiliated entity, and MOPFI, the Ministry of Planning, Finance, and Investment, and this is the one that I want to look at this point. The Spring Development Bank has done some very interesting things, and when we chief among them being the rollout of the NUG Pay app, and also the rollout of a effectively a Myanmar chat cryptocurrency to use on this platform. This is a pretty serious undertaking, and I think hopefully at this point people would be aware of the things that the military has done to the financial sector, trying to limit transactions in US dollars, trying to shut down US dollar accounts, refusing to pay back Myanmar's debts to foreign companies and to foreign governments, and that's obviously driving the value of the Myanmar chat down and further and further and further. So the economic freedom of Myanmar people under the junta is terrible. Transactions are being monitored, transactions are being limited. I think we remember back in 2021 when there were chronic shortages of cash. People could not get money out of the ATMs, and then the government had to limit them. All these things are happening. So I wonder whether we can first begin by discussing the value and the successes of the Spring Development Bank for raising money, and more importantly for implementing a solution to these problems, and then discuss the specific challenges and the specific difficulties, because I think the financial sector is possibly one of the most complex sectors to try to come up with a competing platform. So, Gojo, if we can turn back to you, can you tell us about the benefits of the tools that MOPFI has rolled out, that the Spring Development Bank has rolled out, and how much impact does this actually have on the average Myanmar person's ability to conduct business, to make payments, receive payments, and continue living in an economy?
Yeah, this is very effective and interesting to be involved in the resistance or other like alternative times of like transitions, because as you already mentioned that Myanmar is becoming more shrinking, and they are like transition is investigation by the military junta, so we don't have to transfer the like huge amount of money one from another. So this is significantly impact for the like economic developments and as well. So that's why like people would like to try to be the alternative using point because for the NUGP and STP is developed by an initiative by the NUG, but they are significantly different from one to another. So Spring Development Bank. So let's say like first with like NUG Pay. So NUG Pay is mobile wallet. So this is kind of blockchain based mobile wallet, and this is developed by the Ministry of Planning and Finance and Investment. So I think it's just started on 2022. And they make digital payment for the goods, utility, and services, and this is very easy to use in the QR codes or wallet transfer. So, and we can review easily our transition histories and manage their financial securely. So, and for the promotion of like financial inclusion by some other providing of accept to non-traditional banking option, especially for those kind of the like Honda rank banks. So this is very good, and also the application is also work from the not only for the mobile like Apple and also for the Android as well. So that is very accessible for all of the device for the privacy and security. So and the other things and the best thing is that this it does not require the Honda registration data for the sign up. So this is very easy to sign up for the and also the insurance for the user anonymity. So they are also users is to like anonymous in politically sensitive content. So this is very good for the for the customers or like people to use to easy access to the service. For the STB, so they are being launching now. I think 2023 in July. So this is a kind of blockchain no bank, kind of new bank for or solely controlled by the national unity government. So as far as I know, the Spirit Development Bank, one of their band is also hosted in and mostly running in online, but like in physically, and the money is stored in some country outside the territory. So they are like polygon blockchain technology. So this is kind of we call USDT. So USDT is the multi-currency support. They have Myanmar share, for example, USD or Singapore dollar or Thai baht or euro or pound or Japan yen or like Korean, like all of the like I think mostly multi-currency support in SGP. So it's very strange and very imperfect that because for example, when we would like to transfer from Thailand to the UK or from Thailand to the US or from US to the Australia, so we are now easily access to the Spring Development Plan. So when we are for example, I just like store my ban STP ban in like 600,000 Myanmar check to my bank accounts, and when I would like to store in my bank in USD, so I would like to easily change to USD and to my bank account. And if I would like to be transferred from USD to another another USD from the people who are in outside of the country, for example, let's say in the United States, so I would like to transfer easy to them, and also they can easily transfer from the STP band, and also they can get money from the RM. So the things and the challenges is we cannot directly withdraw cash directly from the STP. So we have to need to be change our money to using some other RM. RM is kind of agent. That is the STP is using. So if you would like to be withdraw some of the amount, so we would like to approach to the RM and give RM give some account and send STP account. So we transfer the money to STP to the RM account, and the RM is also giving money for to our bands. So if I just given or support to my USD bank or my Canadian bank, so they can transfer my bank, and also I can easily cash withdraw from my ATM. So and the thing is this is totally free of charge, so we cannot uh, get or like input some other kind of transition fees on that. So we are very easy to transfer conveniently free of charge. So for example, when I transfer USD to another Sprint Development Bank account to USD, so when I transfer 100 USD, and the other receiver can get 100 USD, and if they would like to cash withdraw for the 1 USD, they reach out to the RM, and RM give 100 USD to their US bank account, and they can easily cash withdraw from the cap. But this is like two step is additional to cash withdraw, but the thing is very secure way, very prominent, and very comfortable to transfer from one to another. And also they can account holder can participate ICO token offering. So this is really new feature for the Sprint Development fundraising. So we are now fundraising. For example, like when earthquake is happening, the devastation is happening across the Myanmar, especially in Mandalay region. Some people would like to donate money, but they don't really would like to engage money to the military junta normally. And we often fundraising is initiated by the governments and trying to be systematically through the village and what administrators and directly engage with the people. But the thing is now is totally different. It's like all of the people really don't trust about the military junta like management system or humanitarian aid distributed system. So they would like to risk or donate some money to directly. So the Spring Development Bank is offering some kind of fundraisings, as pensions, and they can easily fundraise on that, and from that money, so they can directly engage and trying to be distributed to the people in directly to the area that devastating affected by the earthquake in Mandalay. So this is the one thing. So but that there's some significant challenges that I don't know why. So this is we have been trying to be connect or analysis on that. So NUGP and STP cannot connect with each other because STP is licensed crypto based digital banks and NUG is mobile wallet. But before that in Myanmar, for example, like KBZ Bank in Myanmar, for KBZ banking and also the KBZ Pay like mobile wallet can easy to be connected. But in time as well, like in time bank, so we can easy to be mobile wallet with mobile phone number and also easily connect to the bank. So the bank can easily store the money. But the thing is, the NUGP and SCP cannot connect. So if we use the STP, so we can easily transfer with QR code and bank account as well. But when we store with the NUGP, so we have to be enter into the NUGP it pay differently and also using their platform with their procedure. So this is one of the challenges and in order to be connect with each other. So this is a thing, but there's some challenges with the energy finance has been because both of their services are part of financial war strategy, let's say, against the junta control bands. So and of course they are transparent crowdfunding and during crisis and also provide security and privacy for their system for the SCP surveillance. So but the thing is that some people now more trust to the STP service and NUGP as well. But the thing is, they have they need to be when they are reached to the people, for example, in agent is voluntarily working on the STP and NUGP, so they have very limited time to reach out to them. So the thing is, the thing is customer service for, let's say, customer service from the NUG agent, from the people to the NUG agent. So that would be better if like NUG customer services, the STP and NUG customer services more better, and people are easy to engage, and people is easy to get money back and easy to cash withdraw. So the thing is trust and legitimacy. So NUG itself and STP and NGP, they have a lot of legitimacy. People really would like to engage and give legitimacy to them. But the thing is trust. So the trust is come from the customer service. The trust is come from the social relation. The trust is come from the security as well. So if Dixata they are trying to be developed or promoting or polishing, so that would be great for the people more easy access to that kind of financial service.
Let us turn then to the Spring University, or rather Nueo Taketo. So same basic question. With regards to education, we would imagine that it is, generally speaking, easier than financial services to provide education online. However, the students would actually have to be, how should I put this, online for an extended period of time. Does that put the students in a position where if they are trying to receive education through this online university, they expose themselves? And I know this. I did in fact work for Spring University in Myanmar, the non-NUG affiliated entity, and I know that I frequently had problems where students were trying to join classes, they were trying to engage, but because they were in public locations or they were in transit between locations, they could not risk actually engaging with the lessons, engaging with the classes, because if they were seen to be doing that in public, they would expose themselves and they would potentially face great risks. So I imagine there is still a very significant security concern around the provision of education in a digital format. But as the universities have been taken over, I imagine that the Spring University is also one of the few options that students still have available to them to receive an education of some form. So if you can you take us through how the Spring University, or how the Nuevo Takato stacks up against the education that was available before the coup at the university level? And how effective is it at providing education online? How effective is it at providing offline education tools? And again, very importantly, what are the difficulties that the ANG faces in improving this tool and rolling out this tool? And what are the threats that are faced by the people who are using this tool?
Yep, the issues that you raised also regarding the security concerns when the students try to access the classes, and there is always the fear about being tracked down and being arrested. So it is true that we discuss about the services delivered by the NUG or education institutions like Spring University Myanmar. There is always the same issues happening again and again. So this kind of issues, the security threats, it is the best is for the students is to hide their identities and store their data in a very secured ways, and also to be aware of their digital literacy. So for the for your questions, that how effective is that, the how effective are the education services provided by these institutions? I think whenever we talk about the education after the coup, it can come up with the on-ground educations and also the online education. But on ground, there are so many, over thousands of schools in the liberated areas, which are under the control of the NUG and also the ethnic territories. But most of them are also for the basic education. Like Gojo mentioned before, like we also have basic education certification assessment, like the Beaker exam that which is the exam that tests through for the qualification of the students for the completion of basic education. So there are so many ways that the NUG has been doing for that Beaker exam, also to the students who are learning at the physical schools offline, and the way they do it through the exams in the resistance control territories, and also they take the exams in the online forms for those who can access online. That is for the basic education, and for the higher education as well, that there are some colleges and universities in the ethnic control areas, like also in Karenni there are many colleges like Sete and other Karenni colleges, but they are not affiliated with the NUG, but they are also providing the higher education in the same way that the Spring University is doing. And but under the NUG there is Myanmar University that we call MNOU. That MNOU is delivering so many degrees and online courses to different students at the higher education level. And not just the MNOU, there are also other university joining under the NUG affiliated system. There are university like Wunzin online university, and also the other vocational colleges as well, like the filmmaking colleges, such kind of universities. So they are all under the joining the NUG's affiliated system. So, well, according to our interviews, one of the respondents remarked that there are over 17 degree programs that they can deliver through the NUG's affiliated system, and these degree programs also come up with effective qualification system that the students have to do the group assignments and the group assignments, the group projects, and also take the exams for qualification. And also similar to the universities that we have in Myanmar education system, they also deliver the degree programs, and also the students have to submit thesis for their graduation qualification. So, and also these Myanmar University and Wonsin University, they link to different international universities and international conferences for their students to read their thesis and dissertations and get a publication at the international level. So yeah, this is a kind of initiative that these education institutions have been doing. But biggest challenge is the accreditation, because it is always it is the same to other university like the spring universities or other universities that they have to attempt to get the accreditation from other international universities. But there are some success stories as well. Some international universities that I do not want to name. Some of the universities abroad are also accepting that some kind of credit transfers, and also the completion from qualification certificates from Myanmar universities and within university, and they can get the scholarships and they can join for master degree classes in specific partner universities that they already signed the memorandum of understanding. So this is the some kind of success stories in terms of accreditation. But yes, speaking of in a broad way, the NUG Ministry of Education has to do and has to they have to advance in terms of partnerships and accreditation that the students can link their further education to the international level. Yeah, so this is for the online university, but MNOU and also the NUG Ministry of Education, they also try to deliver the higher education courses to the people, to the students who cannot have access to the internet. The way they do it is through the uses of digital tools and also the technology advancements, like they set up a box, kind of like a Moodle box, and it is set up with a Raspberry Pi and a power bank, and this bulk is sent to the liberated areas where they cannot get the internet services. And when the students on the ground open the power of this specific box, this the Raspberry Pi set up a Wi-Fi to that the devices and near that box can access, and but that specific Wi-Fi can link directly to the LMS system, the learning management platform of the education service provider, the NUG MOE. So they can access to the website of the MOE. So the students can learn the materials uploaded from the digital LMS platform. So this kind of services are also available in the offline area, and these initiatives are not new because the other education service providers like the Spring University is also doing the similar services, like they're sending the buses to the liberated areas. But I can comment that this kind of initiatives are very contributed to the people who cannot have the access to the online, but they can still access to the learning materials and courses available on the platform. So in terms of education, we can point out to different areas, both on grounds and the online education services. And again, the biggest challenge I would like to point out is the accreditation and also the security threats that you mentioned.
But one thing that I do want us to touch on, and I know before I ask this question, I know that it is out of the scope of your research, and it is out of the scope even necessarily of your areas of study and focus. But I do think it's a very interesting point, and you did allude to it earlier in our discussion, and that is the digital governance services, or just at the very least the digital services that are being offered not by the NUG but are being offered by various ethnic armed organizations, and indeed also the partnership in providing digital services between the NUG and the EAOs in order to better serve the civilian communities that they are both interested in protecting and serving and providing essential services to. So I'm wondering, throwing back to Kyaw, can you tell us anything about the types of services that are being provided by EAOs and the relationship, if there is a relationship, between EAO digital governance services and NUG digital governance services?
The thing is, the digital government services is like supported by the ERO as well. They have like long histories or trying to develop the e-governance services. But the thing is, they are internet service provider, so they are not like they have never been initiated or set up like internet service provider before for the ERO. But for the NUG, so the some of the NUG members also like come from the NLDs and some of the member of parliaments, and they have like already been away to in touch or like to collaboration with some of the internet service provider, the digital governments, trying to be the framework of the plan, under the NLD government's era. So, but after that, so they are trying to be deployed NUG, and also the NUG is now some like kind of some experience to the digital government services. So the thing is like EAO is trying to deploy, for example, like say in current states or current state also trying to be digitalization in some area, but they are like very limited to do the kind of digital services because in KNU control area, most of the KNU control area is already completely shut down the internet before the coup, and also they are trying to be relying on the internet from the other subjects. But the thing is now down they are trying to be trying to be develop the digitalization after that. For example, like say in current, so they have never been current languages in to integrated Unicode system and to do to upload or write into the digitals, for example, social medias. Before that, now they are trying to be like current found, like it's a called current found. So this is very initiative to people to write in and type in the current found easily with commuters, and also put in social medias and keep digitalization. This is very initiative and progress of like digitalization and digital government initiative by the KNU. But the thing is, they very significant limited challenges because of the for the technicals and technical aspect and expertise that's supported by the KNU is very limited. But they are trying to develop, and they are still like progress so far. So this is a one thing for the currents and Karenni as well. Karenni is trying to be developed, but the thing is that Karenni is like uh, before the coup. So currently is very like the smallest area of the Myanmar, and they are now trying to be progress and very actively involved in all the sector, including the digital services as well. So now they are trying to be digitalized and trying to be the provide education as well as Miyasu already mentioned that they have like college, they have schools. Now they have like legal law school to provide legal education to the administrators and some other like civil servants that are trying to service to the people in personally and online in current stage. So this is the initiative in Chin as well and Rakhine as well. So now they are trying as much as they can. But the thing is for the healthcare sector, so NUG is trying to be collaborated in currently in Chin. So they set up and trying to negotiate, and they have like referral system from one place to another, not only for the physical but also for the online reference services as well, and also some other platform like mental health support and psychological and counseling services. They are now some of the organization, for example, in Kachin, in currents, they are trying to develop counseling service to each of their own languages, mother tongue languages, to give that kind of counseling service to the people. And you just trying to coordinate, and Sanada is a more like energy is receives a kind of like cases that need to be that is more better to consult in their mother tongue language. They try to explore and reach out and coordinate with the ERO, the political wins who provided the services to the people, and also the people can easily to reach out to them. So energy can mediate and also coordinate that between the peoples and the services. So this is the one, and coordinate as well, especially for the healthcare sector. As far as I know, education sector, this two sector is very fast, you know, uh, achievable to coordinate and to be between each other. But for the security sector, they are very collaborated between each other. But this is very confidential, so we didn't cannot catch up all the informations. But they are trying to be digitalized, and also the thing is using AI, so information, artificial intelligence technology is using some of the platform. This is very fast step. For example, some like Moodles and some platform, online platform, when the construction law is happening, like people are recruited in the urban area, especially youth and falsely recruited and back to the front line from the military side. So some other young people is trying to be reach out to the people like online platform channel, this is like portal channels that is to be discussed with how should I escape that and how should we do that. And they have like artificial intelligence running with AI model platforms, and they have automatically replying to them with like very specific like suggestions and also the way. This is very interesting point they have initiated, but this is still for this is kind of pilot. But this is one thing this is very interesting. And also some medical and technology field, they are trying to be integrated with artificial intelligence to the and digital services to the some of their services. So I will say like healthcare and education services is very initiative, but the rest of the services still collaborate as much as they can. But the thing is that for the connected with physically to the online services. So this is mostly each of their area is relying on the more relying on the physical area, especially for the ER control area, because of the language barrier, because of the transportation, because of the technological familiarity and digital literacy. So mostly they are still relying on the physical services. But some other area, due to the security concern, more are becoming more coming closer to access to the digital services, and people are now easy to use that kind of like social medias and platforms. So now they are trying to be connect with the digital services, especially for example, let's say in birth certificate. Now most of the people are displayed from the one place to another. Most of the people is flee to Thailand, in Thailand, Thai Myanmar border, flee to the Mizoram in India Myanmar border, flee to the like Cox's Bazar in Bangladesh. So in this area, so or what some people is they are at that area. So some people is got a pregnant and also got a baby. At the time the question is how to be the get the birth registration certificate. So some people would like to easily go like to get the birth certificate from the, for example, in Thai authority or Thai hospital. But the thing is some people is this is just temporarily fleeing, and they would like to get birth certificate from the birth certificate from the Myanmar. They would like to be a Myanmar citizen as well, of course. So at the time, this is very loophole and gap. How do we integrate on that? So Ministry of like Home Affairs also initiative to get the collecting the birth certificate in online digital way. But the thing is that yeah, of course, at least they can get the, some document on that. But this is really affected and implement, I think, at the transition period to reparation back to the people, to the country, and also give and reparation back to the people who survivors and also people who are like difficult to attain the citizenship as well. This is another story, but the NUG is trying to be collecting data as well in digitally. This is the Ministry of Home Affairs, like different ministry. So the thing is, I would like to say they are trying to digitally as much as they can and collaborate as much as they can. The thing is language barrier. So this is significantly different and challenges. And also the thing is that technological aspect and also the limitation as well. So Sam, ERO and Sun Ethnic is they are really enthusiastic and progress to do the kind of digital services. The thing is they don't have a like proper kind of digital experts or people who are working on voluntarily full time in that kind of initiative. So they are trying approach to the NUGs and other sector, and also they are collaborating. Sometimes NUG is like kind of as an institution to collaborate with them. To support them and to reformulate or develop them as a digitally, and sometimes they are individually provide some technical support or technical support to them. And this is not only NUG, because some ERO is like directly engaged to the people who are outside from the Myanmar, but they are digitally expert and expertise, so they are trying to be directly to the ERO to support that kind of digital services. But we can see that digital services is now running, but not so far like we are not I think in Myanmar like kind of resistance movement and ERO and NUG, they cannot get like digitally national-like central database system. They don't really have that kind of database system. They have like manually and each of their area and to collect data individually and as an organization. So this is very difficult to don't to overlap or don't to engage with each other, or for example referral system as well. So I think that would be better to cut a database system to collect all the data, and of course we need to be secure data privacy and data security from the digital threat as well. So this is very critical point to do that, the coordination and collaboration, and of course interpretation is important for the another language from the ethnic language to the access to the service as well.
I also would like to add just one comment about their collaboration with the Spring Development Bank. So after in Karenni, so after the establishment of interim executive committee IEC, so they come up with different forms of different branches of ministries and departments, and as we all know that the Karenni is the most conflict hated area, and the humanitarian need is always constant and great. So the Karenni, the government, the local governance, they cannot rely only on the humanitarian aid from the international community, so they have to generate their own incomes and revenues. So in collaboration with the Spring Development Bank, the IEC's departments of finance, they try to sell the bonds, and they try to sell the lands in the Karenni territory with the collaboration with the Spring Development Bank, and with the revenues and the fund, the raised funds from that, they put that money and the funds to humanitarian aid, or construction of other infrastructure sources, and also financing the government as well. So that is the one collaboration that I would like to point out that happened between the SDB and the Karenni. Yeah.
And we appreciate adding that sort of necessary context. There's actually quite a lot of really good information coming out in this discussion, and what I want to do is I kind of want to look to the future, because again, the focus of your research, as we've discussed a few times, the focus of your research is the Ministry of Health, the Ministry of so MOPFI, so Planning, Finance and Investment, and the Ministry of Education. And of course, you do note in your document, as I say in the appendix, that there are a lot of other government services that exist, but they don't seem to be not just that they're not the focus of your research, but they don't seem to get as much awareness, as much media time. People don't talk about those tools as much as they talk about things like the Spring Development Bank and NUG Pay and the Thwe University and so on. And so I want to throw it back to Kojo here, because I want to ask about law. Is there space for digital governance to expand into law itself, whether this is, as you alluded to very early on in our discussion, tools not to relate between the government and the people, but tools for the government to work internally, drafting legislation, passing legislation, voting in a pseudo digital parliamentary context? But then also, is there scope for the digitization of things like judicial review, law enforcement, mediation? Basically, can we move the courts and the judges into a digital service that we can provide to the people, which, especially in a time of conflict, is very important? What thoughts do you have on this?
Yeah, this is very critical, services and extremely needed for the people in inside Burma, especially for the Sakai, Makwe, and also Iao control area as well. So in Myanmar, so long story short, Myanmar have never been kind of digital services and digital tools to, especially in the judicial sector. So they are trying, because I think 2050, but before 2070, so they didn't have kind of reporting system, so all of the people didn't know about which kind of cases handle, so which kind of cases received in the Union Supreme Courts across the Burma. So we didn't know all the information about the digital the judicials and also the accountable mechanism in Myanmar, across Myanmar. So But 2070, I think after 2070, they are trying to be developed with the annual report from the Union Supreme Court with digitally, and also they are categorized as and also the documentation all of the codes, and also they spread off like release some of the quantitative information, and this is very effective for the people who would like to be a free and fair trial, and also the kind of the open code system as well. So in the judiciary, we are very emphasizing on the transparency of the code. People are very free to monitoring the code system and code hearing as well. So they are trying, and also as far as I know, in 2020, so at the time of the the period of the COVID period, so all of the Supreme Court and some other cases trying to be changed to the online court system. So the consequently they drafted the rules, and also the standard procedure relating with online court hearing, especially for the who. For example, people are in jail and arrest and detention center, but they would like to try to extend the warrants, or they are trying to believe an offense, something like that. They need to be the keep in touch with in person, or like in online. So at the time COVID, though they don't have an option to do that in person, so they're trying to change to the online. So they drafted the policy and procedure regarding with the online coherence system, and the significance and famous, like the case is like held by the online is the Show, the Karenni, formerly we know as Kyaw State. Kyaw State, the Prime Minister of Kyaw State. So they trying to be constitutional tribunal is trying to be hearing the case between uh, the the case of the Show from the governments, especially for the Prime Minister of the states, Kyaw State as well. So before the coup, so we can hear online digitally from the code, and all the people can easy to access to the online via through the Zoom link. But after that, so after the military coup, so in the judicial society, especially for the rule of law and legal enforcement agency in Myanmar. So this is very rare to use the digitally. Some people, so they are trying to be manually, and I think they don't have like digitally mapping system or digitally data storage system as well. They are completely stored with the manually physical people and attached in a envelope and file and all of this, and also directly go ahead to the transfer to the NAPIDO as well. So this is very difficult to go to the code for the after the coup, especially for the military control area, and in Zagain and some other resistant area. Unfortunately, the judicial system and law enforcement agency totally collapsed. People are don't really engaged to the police stations and very uncomfortable to reach out to them, because of people believe that like people trust is significantly low, or that people like police and also law enforcement agency are protecting to them, so they don't believe a lot. So that's why in some other cases they don't really engage or reach out to the police station. Instead they are trying to be mediate, or they're trying to be other informal way. So but in Zagain state, so NUG is like you're trying to be developed with the coherent systems and also the code system inside Myanmar. But the thing is that uh, they are trying to be there physically instead of the digital, because all of the like law enforcement agency, including the Ministry of Justice, from NUGs and other people. So some of them are come from the advocates, some of them are come from the prominent lawyer, some of them are come from the political parties, some of them are come from the the CDM official judges and CDM legal officer and CDM judicial staff from the country. So they really know well about how to set up the physical code and how to set up the law enforcement agency physically, not the digital one. This is very initiated and very difficult to engage with them. And also, of course, law enforcement agency is themselves is very really don't really aware about the digital services as well. So we need to be digital literacy to them at first, and after that we have to be changed to the online codes. So this is the one thing. And the second thing is that in physically they have like some of detention center, jail, and also the hearing in some of the area. The thing is that the military homes are trying to be airstrike to the code and other some of their area of the government compound or government area of the NUG in Zagayan state. So now they are trying to be mobile code system from one place and another one place from the another period. So this is what they are doing right now in the inside Myanmar, especially for the central Burma. But for the ER state, they have been kind of law enforcement agency in each of their area to implement physically, of course, for the digitally. So they are difficult to engage with G detention and also the code system and on office as well, a policing sector as well. So now they are solely relying on the physically instead of digital. And for the release statements or release data, so some Karenni official is now trying to be digitalized, and Karenni is very fast progress and to initiate that kind of digitalized in especially in the digital sector. And the other digital the other judicial sector in under NUGs and other is now trying to be developed, but they are still challenging to do the digital service. So this is a one thing. And we would like to say that the legal draft in a law, this is incredibly important. We don't have kind of specific standard operating procedure. We don't have kind of law, and we don't have kind of procedure and rule regarding with the digital security now up to date situations. So this is reliably based on the standard operating procedure in each of their organization. So sometimes SOP is still contradict and conflict between one organization to another organization. Now they are trying to coordinate and mediate and do as well as a convenience way. But the thing is, this should be the concrete policy or concrete, a law or legislative drafting in order to be, on the same page of all the stakeholders and all the services that we have been basing digitally inside Myanmar. So this the law, especially for the digital security law, or especially for the data security, for the NUG government services, the user protection policy. So this is extremely important, but they don't have like specific concrete policy. This is like handling case by case. So this is not kind of strong systematic. So we need to be more better, concrete policy and plan to set up the kind of digital information and digital setup too. And the other thing is the jurisdiction problem. So some people is flee from Myanmar to some of the border area, but like the daily like criminal justice is happening. So some crimes or some cases happening in outside of the territory of Myanmar. This is very difficult to handle the case, in hearing online, because NUG doesn't have that online hearing policy. They only do have like physical hearing policy inside Myanmar, and they have very still challenging to get a defendant lawyer or legal aid services as well. So in that case, for example, is some like the crimes or kind of the case is related with the economics, or the related with, let's say in legal term it is called a civil case, not a criminal one. So the criminal ones is happening outside the territory. This is difficult to transfer the you know the people, the accused persons or the people, arrested people to inside country. This is one of the point. It's very difficult. And the second point is when, for example, we are encountering kind of civil cases that is difficult to hearing the courts in online. So if one party would like to sue in the court, they need to come to the inside Myanmar to hire the lawyer. But the thing is very difficult and limited lawyer inside the resident area, so they don't have a specific and enough lawyer to accommodate or to kind of represent that kind of case. So this is the one thing. So that's why in border areas and outside of the territory, when the cases happen in any of the case, they have trying to shaming and blaming on the social media, and some people is trying to go to the mob justice. So this is very uncomfortable to go way to the justice. This is not systematic. This is kind of double standard. Some cases it lead to be double standard. Some cases lead to be unfair and unjust. So we would like to be sure that to set up the online course or to set up the digitalized and also the law enforcement as well inside Myanmar. This is extremely important, especially at least very first that we can store our data digitally, all the data, all the evidence, all the record. So this is very fast that we can do it. For the second or third, also we can do it for the plan. But the thing is, we need the master plans or concrete plan or roadmap to do that kind of digital from first step to second step to third step, or until we reach our goal. So this is we I think that the judicial sector and law enforcement doesn't have that kind of concrete policy, any law policy, concrete roadmap plan, anything else. So if they have a time or framework, or if they have a plan, so they can obey, or they can do in line with that kind of that kind of like roadmap or plan or framework systematically. But if it doesn't, so they are really handle case by case and doing like that. So yeah, the thing is so far so good inside Burma, especially for the physical one. But for the digital, so now they have still challenges to change from the physical to the online one. So this is my observation from the judicial sector law enforcement inside Myanmar.
Excellent. And turning to Myat, I know you obviously have a very different background, and specifically what's piquing my interest here is your studies in food security. Now, obviously, within Myanmar, one of the biggest problems that is facing the population is the fact that food supplies are dwindling, the costs of food are going up, and because of the ongoing conflict, and especially because the military seems to have a habit of deliberately targeting fields, crop fields, and we've seen, for example, in Chin State, the military waiting until the harvest has been completed to come in and steal the harvested food, or to destroy the warehouses of food and destroy the fields. Food insecurity is obviously a very pressing concern. And I think this is perhaps a much more complicated issue than law, because we are talking about physical goods that have to be procured and physical transportation of those goods. Do you see any scope for any technological solution that the NUG could roll out, or the EAOs could roll out, to help with identifying the places of the greatest food insecurity, identify the places where food could be produced or sourced from, and help to devise a more equitable and therefore more sustainable distribution of the limited food resources in the country?
Thank you so much for the question. That is a whole different topic, but yeah, I think I can cover a bit about that. So yes, the food security is like quite alarming since after the coup in Myanmar and after the conflicts got heated back again. So it's happening in the whole country. It's just the fact that it's a matter of the fact that it is obvious or it is not obvious in some places. Maybe like in the major cities like Yangon and Mandalay, the food is abundant, but the access to food is not quite convenient for all different walks of life. At the end of the day, it is the poorest of the poor who have to pay the consequences of all of this. Even in the major cities like Yangon and Mandalay, the basic working class, they don't really have the access to the food. But what I mean is that there is the food availability, of course, in those major cities. But in terms of access, I mean the financial capacity, they don't really have that. So there are so many cases and issues related to hunger in these situations, even in those major cities. And not just when we talk about food security, it is not just about having any kind of food. The food should be under good standards and a good quality. It is very much affiliated with our right to adequate living standard. So even in major city, the food that the basic working class of people they are having is not in a good quality and not in a healthy diet. So cannot really say the people are food secured. So what about the people in the conflict affected regions, especially like the Rakhine, which is the most conflict affected, and all the transportation routes are blocked? The same happened to Chin. Yes, what you mentioned is correct, exactly. And about the Karenni situations and also in Shan, it's the situations happen because the military see these territories as a territories of conquered by the enemy. So they literally treat everyone as the opposition sides. They literally see the civilians, the innocent civilians over there as the enemies. So they did the full cut operation. They cut off information. They cut off funding. They cut off recruitment, and they cut off food and water supplies going to that enemy areas. So that is a very basic military tactic. So what we are dealing with is that this kind of cruelty and brutality. So that's why the commodities cannot flow into that area, and subsequently the prices are skyrocketing just for a basic food commodity like rice and wild beans, onions, like that. So yeah, that is the basic issues happening in that area. So in to link that with the digital services or any kind of government services provided by the NUG or the ethnic organizations, that is a really big question for their for them as well, and the people on the ground are questioning, can you do something for us, can you make any changes? They are willing for that. So as I don't want to repeat the issues again and again, but I just want to focus on what can be done. So as a first of all, when we talk about the government services and also the digital government services, it has different pillars. It is this relationship and between government to the citizens. That is the first one, and the second one is the government to its employees, and the third one is government to businesses, and the fourth one is the government to government relations. So by as a government, so what they can what the NUG and the ethnic organization can do here is that the first one, the government to the citizens pillar, that they have to provide the humanitarian support, and both in the short-term planning and medium-term and the long-term planning. So and in providing such kind of services, we cannot just solve the issues just by providing the humanitarian support. We have to generate our own income, generate our own revenue. That will be the case to address the root causes of the issues. So the first thing that the governments can do is to focus on the parts about finance and planning. And now that currently the IEC is focusing on taxations and also the about the natural resources governance and how to generate income from that. So that is also a big work for the IEC, and a need from the collaboration with NUG is also very important. So another part is that I would like to mention the cross-border trade is very important in this situation. So most of the conflict-affected areas like the Karenni, Shan, Mon, Karen, they are bordering with Thailand. And on the other hand, like if we see Sakai, Chin, Makwe, they are close, and Rakhine as well, they are close to the borders with India and Bangladesh as well. So as these peripheral areas are connected to other neighboring countries, so it falls into the category of government to government relations. So the NUG, it all came back to NUG's advocacy and dealing with the foreign relation part. NUG's Ministry of Foreign Affairs, the MOFOR, is should be quite important player that when they advocate towards the government of Thailand or the India, things like that. So I have seen that there are some kind of initiatives and developments in terms of advocacy to our ASEAN and also neighboring country, but the foreign relations and the legitimacy is always a big question to them. But as an example, to Thailand, advocacy can be done not just to Bangkok, but also to the provinces which are bordering with Myanmar, like Tak province, the Chiang Mai province, Chiang Rai province, things like that. So I think it is very important for NUG to conduct advocacy towards the officials and the mayors of those bordering cities and to facilitate for the cross-border trade. And what I mean by cross-border trade is not through the official cross-border trades that are set by between the two governments, but the Thai-Myanmar borderline is quite long. It's over 2,000 kilometers. So there can be other cross-border points that we can focus on, like the areas between Mae Hong Song in Thailand and the Karenni side of the border. So for the food insecurity issues in Karenni side, if the G2G relations that can be promoted by NUG, if that can be done, that will be a good point. We can deliver a large quantity of goods from Thai side of the border to Karenni side of the border. So that can also be a good solution for that. But that again, that needs a lot of advocacy work, not just to Thailand, but also to ASEAN and other countries as well. So that is the point for food security. That to sum up again, I would like to recommend 2 points to focus on our own revenue generating capacity and also to focus on government to government relations, etc., and for the cross-border trade. Yeah.
Excellent, thank you. And actually, as we're drawing to a close here, I want to thank both of you once again for coming in and sharing your insights and talking about the research paper that you've done. I just want to make sure that I reiterate it for our audience so that they can find the paper as well. It's titled "Digital Governance in Exile: Examining the National Unity Government's Digital Services Efforts in Myanmar." And once again, this research was conducted in partnership with K4DM, Knowledge for Democracy Myanmar. And we strongly recommend that if you are interested in understanding more about the resiliency of the National Unity Government and the approaches that they're taking in the tech space and the cyberspace to fill the gap that has been created by the coup, please check out this article and hopefully we'll be able to link it beneath this interview.
Thank you so much for the final thoughts and insights. So the paper that we have done, we focus a lot on the digital governance, and we measure with the conceptual frameworks. Is it really is the government services delivered by the NUG, are they really reflecting the needs of the people in the socio-political landscape of Myanmar after the 2021 coup? We really questioned during the whole process of the research. So I think, as to answer the question, yes, everything that the initiatives, every services delivered by the NUG is oriented on what is happening in the society, what are the gaps and needs that they have to fill. So they really, I do think they really reflect those needs, but there are so many challenges, there are so many shortcomings and weaknesses and flaws as well that NUG has to, look back and learn and improve themselves. So that is what I would like to take note on the services provided by the NUG. But in terms of legitimacy, I would like to leave a few comments and notes about that. So all of the resistant forces and pro-democracy groups, we advocate that the NUG is the legitimate government of Myanmar, with the sole fact that it is formed by the committee represented Bidazuluda, which is formed with the elected member of parliament who have the mandate of the people. So by that means, NUG is a legitimate government. But in terms of legitimacy, we just cannot say that NUG has a legitimacy just because it is formed by the CRPH, but because of its performances, but because of its ability and capacities to lead the people of Myanmar, guide the people of Myanmar. So we have to we have to be clear, and we have to analyze, and we have to know what are the capacities, and what are the capacity of NUG, and what NUG has been doing so far until today. So the performance of NUG is really seen in government services provided by the organization as a whole. Also, although they have flaws and imperfections as well, but we really need to appreciate what NUG have done, and we really need to try to improve and develop the and support the NUG as well to improve their services. By combination of its performances and its role as a government, we have to judge it should be a government or not. For the international community as well, they were also judged based on the NUG's performance as well. But another point that is really important for the legitimacy of NUG is how much political leadership and political roadmap that NUG can provide on the people of Myanmar to solve the political deadlock and political issues happening on Myanmar. So I think by combining all of these three pieces of aspects, we will have to focus on, and we will have to think about the questions of legitimacy about NUG. Yeah, so that is the final thought that I would like to share.
Yeah, so I would like to conclude a little bit about our research and our findings. So, and firstly, you already mentioned this. I would like to thanks to the K4DN to support the researchers and early career researcher to involve that kind of studies and research for giving that chance. So, and set that foundation as well. This is a kind of K4DN project. So, and the thing is that we, although the national unity government is commitment and doing and that the repressive environments, but they are trying to build a digital state inside. So these services are not only functioners, and they are also symbols of the people trust, and also the services, and also the legitimacy as well. So we have to move forward, coordinating that with technical support and include the digital policy as well. So of course we have very digital limited constraints, budget constraint and resource as well. So if kind of humanitarian support or other international community supports on that kind of improvement of progress, so that would be very good for the people. We are now seeking and doing about the education, healthcare and services. This is the basic fundamental rights of the humans, but even this is very difficult to access to that kind of services inside Myanmar. So some people are living in poverty, some are prison and hunger. So this is kind of this innovative is kind of very initiated, and that would be great to support and kind of providing technical assistance for the other communities and environment as well. This is a better way. So as you already know that look, the war is now sprinting into the futures. They are now trying to go to the futures, and um, some other kind of countries and states are debate about the artificial intelligence, digital surveillance, and even life beyond the arts. So now they are trying to challenge us and worry about the dystopian futures. Tomorrow is already here. But for us, so the calendars never turn. So our country is still trapped into the 20th century war, coups, and endless violence. So why others builders tomorrow challenges, we are still fighting for the yesterday war. So this is very very tight and challenging for the people. For the access to the services, and also of course we have to be viewed as academically or kind of name bias and approach to studies and to find out what is happening, what is enabling for us, and how should we do for the better. So that is very basic and very realistic step to be go forward and also progress for the future. So that is what we are doing right now, and that is what we are discussing and talking about each other at the moment. So I really appreciate of that, and thank you for your information, and thank you for your having me. This is very good to talk about with each other, and thank you for all of you for the having me and hosting me. So thank you.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Insight Myanmar podcast. This platform is more than just a series of conversations. It's a reflection of deeply held values that guide everything we do. From raising awareness about Myanmar's challenges to amplifying voices of resilience, from sharing unfiltered truths to fostering empathy and connection, we're dedicated to creating something meaningful and impactful. We strive to bring on guests who can educate listeners about Myanmar's rich culture and complex history, while also providing space for spiritual and mindful practices that nurture resilience. Above all, we aim to build bridges, connecting people across the globe to the stories, struggles, and triumphs of those in or related to Myanmar. If these values resonate with you, we invite you to help sustain this work. By contributing, you're directly supporting a platform that prioritizes human connection, truth, and meaningful action in a time when these are needed most. Visit insightmyanmar.org/donation to help us today.
Oba yarananda dayananga yaranaya dayanam boda yaranam